She's got her.
The push.
Say something.
No, he said push this button whenever you're ready.
You hear it? Yeah. Okay.
Caught him in between bites.
All he has to open the door is when.
Bessie, are you good? Got everything you need? Everything's all right. I'm right. Okay. Are you good? Okay. Serenity God, welcome.
It's great to see everybody again after the holidays. I don't know if y'all are like me. It just takes everything you have, takes all your time, and which is why we take a little time off during the holidays, November, December. We don't have any broadcasts. We know people are busy with family obligations, community, and that sort of thing. So this is our first broadcast since the holidays, and we're really excited about who we have tonight. Bessie Russell is going to present on quilting. She is also a national treasure for basketry. She is just an amazingly talented woman, a talented person, and we're very blessed to have her here with us tonight. Wado, Bessie, for being here.
Well, it's a privilege to be here for all of you, and I'll do what I can, what I know, tell you what I know, and how I learned to make quilts, you know. So it all goes back to my years, I guess, and
Mike's not going to get it. The mic is not.
Hang on a second. Yes, the microphone's on. Apologize. Is that fried chicken fingers?
Technical difficulties.
There you go.
You'll be going shortly.
All right.
well, anyway, I was born and raised around Rocky Ford, and I've lived there all my life. And when I was a young lady, or a teenager, as I said, my mom used to take us to her quilting bees, you know, and that's how I learned how to quilt. You know, they made us quilt, you know, and they made on Wednesday afternoons or Wednesdays all day. They just bring their lunch, and we'd all sit around and eat, you know, and then we'd go back to the quilting, you know, and as I said, that's how I learned. And as for piece and quilt, you know, I used to watch her, but I don't think I watched too close, because I only remember her doing one way, you know, and that was just strips, you know. She'd put it on the back of a piece of paper, and then she'd just sew it on there with her fingers. But I did this on the sewing machine because my fingers wasn't working, so I just did it on the machine. And when she'd get enough of these, or I guess I don't know how often, she would cut these to the size of the paper, and then she'd strip this paper off, and that gave her the quilt piece, square, whatever you call it. And that's all she did, you know. That's all I remember seeing her do, and I'm pretty sure she did other things, but other ways of piecing, you know, like we do nowadays. But I stick to the old patterns. Like this is called a flower garden, and this is called a double wedding ring, and of course this is applique. These two are appliques, and that's what I do, you know, a lot, or I did, but I'm kind of slowed down now. So And this is one that I've quilted myself, you know, piece by piece, and I've made so many quilts in the last few years. I think I've made all my kids one and my grandkids, and now it's my great-grandkids, and I made one just before Christmas. Now they're coming two at a time. We got a set of twins that just turned one a couple of months ago, and I had to make them one too. So I'm just trying to get them to stop. My fingers can't take it no more. So in other words, that's about all I do anymore is just piece quilts on the machine, you know, because I started the quilting. I pinned it all together, you know, and put it on the frame here a while back, and I got two or three stars. I believe it was a star sewed, and I just couldn't go on. So I took it all out, and I said I just can't finish this. And I don't know of anybody that does that anymore, you know. So the churches that used to do it don't do it no more, you know. So we used to. I've sent some to the ladies at church after I growed up and quit doing it myself, you know. I send them to the church or have somebody machine quilt them for me. So, but I've done a lot of quilting myself, you know. So, and I've got I don't have a. Well, there's some pictures here that you might. I was going to show you how to. This is called a Indian arrowhead, and what I do. And this is the pattern. That's all you need is just two pieces of this and two pieces as. Well, you cut a 12-inch block is what I do on this one, and cut it in half, and then this is what makes the star, and I think I only just brought, and you applicate them onto your half square piece here. And if you can see, you know, that's how it turns out after you applicate it on there, you know. And of course you have to pull these under so they won't start raveling. And then that's when what you do on, no, you do it by hand. But it's real simple. Sometimes when you put it all together, my stars never did come out just exactly right, but it's really pretty if you want to look at it. That's how. And I entered this at the Muskogee and got first place on it after I made it a few years ago, and I made this pattern myself, which is an acorn and leaves, and I took that to Catoosa, but it didn't win anything, so I guess they had and this is called a fan, just a fan quilt, you know, piece, and you can set these any way you want to, you know, but I chose it to set it this way. And I made this Christmas tree, and it's just made out of little blocks, you know, looks like little blocks there, and applicated on the piece of material. And of course I hand quilted that, and And I tried to make another one like it, and I couldn't remember how I'd done it. So this is the one and only for me, I guess, because I don't remember how I did it. And I think I gave it away, and the lady that I give it to, I asked her if she would loan it back to me so I could make another one. She never did bring it back to me. I guess she didn't want me to make another one, but I've got the book for it, but I just can't remember how I did it on another piece of cloth there. How if I used on stuff, I don't remember. Because when you get old as me, you don't remember a whole lot. But I think that's
So what's your earliest memory of?
my earliest memories in doing this was, well, as I said, when I was about 12 years old. That's when Mom started taking us with her, and she'd go, and we wanted to play. It was at a church by a creek, and we wanted to go play, but they made us sit there and and quilt. But I guess now you can say I'm glad, because I did learn how to do that, And
So people used to get together and quilt at church.
yeah, quilting bees, is what they used to call them. Yeah, and that's what I'm talking about. That's where she used to take us, and we'd spend all day down there on Wednesdays, and of course, as I said, I was the youngest, I guess, there. I didn't do a very good job, but I guess it was okay. They never did take it out. So if you have any more questions I'll try to answer them. And as I said, I grew up around Rocky Ford, and my mom and dad was John and Nancy Ratcliffe, and they was both from around there. And I was born in a little log cabin just across the creek from the New Mission Church, and I don't know how old I was when we moved from there, but I remember going back down there years ago when somebody else lived in it. Of course, they tore down the log cabin, log house years ago, So, but I did get to see the place where I was born. So, and I had three sisters and 4 brothers, and all of them's gone but me and one of my sisters. You all probably know Lena Blackbird. She's my sister. Yeah, she's gotten to where she can't make baskets anymore. Her fingers her hands are so bad, that she can't even hold a basket to weave. So. And I'm afraid mine's getting to that point too, but they're not quite near as bad as hers, and I know she still wants to do it, but she just can't. And I'm trying to excuse me. I'm trying to pass this on to my kids. I want y'all to meet my daughter, Vicki. She's, if you don't know her, she's my driver, and she takes me everywhere I need to go, and I don't know what to do without her anyway. So she's always willing to help me out, and she's learning how, or she has already learned how to make baskets, and now she's taking pottery class and classes, and she loves doing that. So. But she.
Where all do you get the fabric from?
Well, just anywhere. Sometimes I a good bargain at yard sales. And I have found a lot of good material at yard sales. It's new, and it's not. But but when Mom used to make them, I think she just made them out of flour sacks and old maybe shirts or whatever, And I don't never remember her piecing quilts like this, She just kind of just made squares, squares, and her thing was this because I guess it was easy, and she could just cut out strips. It didn't have to be the same width, You could just use any width, and put it together. Of course, she did it by hand, and I haven't never made a whole quilt, like this.
Did your church groups give the quilts away?
No, they just people used to take them and have them quilted for maybe $5-6 a quilt, And back then that was, it was cheap, So I don't think they do it anymore. I know they don't. I don't know if there's any church that does it anymore, So.
Is it like a fundraiser for the church then?
Yeah. Well, to kind of help with the church, to keep it running, I guess you'd call it, And of course, I don't really know. I didn't pay that much attention to all. I just went and.
Sure, a quilt would go for much more than $5 or $6 now.
Oh, I know.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you quilt in the home too? I remember going to a lot of us, probably my great grandma's house, and she had I don't even know what those are called, but it was in her living room.
It's just frames,
Frames.
Mm-hmm.
And they used to quilt in the home as well. Was that a part of your upbringing?
Yeah, we did that at home too, but I don't think neighbors or anybody got together in homes. When they just went to the church and helped there, So what they did at home was for themselves, and I know my mom made quilts because we had quilts on our bed, or we probably would have been really cold if she didn't make them. So.
What was made was used then, because now quilts are.
Well, she used to. I remember she used to have old blankets. Maybe they was getting too thin or something, and then she'd just line instead of what back then they called it cotton instead of batting. So. I know she used to use that blanket, for the batting, and I don't know. It just when you don't pay that much attention growing up, what their parents do, then you don't remember a whole lot. Yeah.
What's the most difficult thing there is to quilting?
Quilting. This part right here. I don't mind piecing, like this. I enjoy that more than I do the quilting because it's really, well, it's not. It's tedious, I guess, and I think I started quilting this on a frame, and I think I ended up quilting it on them hoops that they use nowadays. As I said, I couldn't remember how I did these things. And pins. This is the one that I hand quilted because I always felt like it was really hard for me to machine this curve, put it on the machine and sew it. So I decided it was easier just to hand piece it, instead of trying to do it on a machine. And every bit of that is done by hand. This is done by hand, so. But I think I enjoyed every stitch of it. You know, I like doing that. He asked me the hardest part. I don't know if you call it the hardest part, but I always dreaded cutting out the pieces, you know, because you have to cut out so many, and I don't know. Sometimes I'm not very good at coordinating colors together, you know, but I just try to do the best I can, you know. But as I said, I enjoy this, and I'll tell a story about Vicky. She's asking me. It's not very long. Yeah, I don't know. We were talking about piece and quilt, I think, one day, and I said, "Well, why don't you piece quilts?" And she said, "Oh, I might when I get old to be old as you are." As I said, they can. I got two girls. She's the youngest, and they both can do everything that I can do. Quilt, sew. Matter of fact, they're getting better than me. But I'm getting to the point where I just can't do it. You know, it's either aches and pains or my eyes or something. You know, it's kind of, I'm just slowing down. But
Do you make clothing too? Have you made clothing?
yeah. I used to sew for my girls when they were little, and I started out on one of them treadle sewing machines. I think my mom let me have hers, and I made the girls' dresses, and you know, I don't think I made the boys' jeans because I didn't know how to do it. But I sewed for myself, and I just finally quit sewing. That's been quite a while ago when I quit sewing too. I just don't sew anymore. It's just so much easier, I guess, to go to the store or somewhere and get something.
Have you entered the art show, the Cherokee Nation art show during holiday?
Yeah. Quilts, you mean?
Yes.
As I said, this is the only one that two of them, two pieces. Two. It's the ones that this is the one that I entered at the 5 Tribes, and I got first place on that. And then this is the Indian Arrowhead. My sister-in-law wanted a pattern, so I gave it to her, and she said it took me forever to see the arrows in here. She was just seeing the stars in here, but you can see the arrows in there. And this is the other one that I entered at the Catoosa. It's the acorn one, and I think I ended up giving that quilt to my grandson, and I gave this to Vicky, which she lost in the fire, so she don't have that either. So, and I don't know who I would give this to. It's the fan quilt. Oh, I know who I give this to, Shauna Kane. I give that to Shauna Kane.
She won't give it back.
She won't let me borrow it.
We'll embarrass her on YouTube.
Yeah, I told her I wanted to borrow it so I can remember how I finished it. And this is just a wall hanging here, and it's just a crib size. And my grandson's wife said, she wanted it for her baby girl, but we're still waiting for that baby girl. And as I said, I'm not sure, but I think I entered this at the Trail of Tears. And if I'm not mistaken, I think Mary Ellen bought it. Anyway, I don't have any quilts that I'm quilted myself. I give my old ones to the girls, so I'm just using blankets instead of quilts. But anyway, that's.
How long does it take to do a quilt like that?
Like this? A quilting or piecing?
Yes.
Ooh. Well, I've never really timed myself because I don't sit still maybe an hour at a time, and then I'll go do something else, but I would say, I don't know, maybe a couple of weeks.
I was thinking of you. I was thinking of me. Wow.
Yeah, when I get started, as I say, once you get the pieces cut out, then it goes a lot faster.
Can I hold it and pass it around?
Yeah,
this?
I do.
I want to see the pictures too. I want to see the pictures. The pictures, okay.
Oh.
Is everybody's fingers unbreezable?
Yeah, the quilt starts right here, and the rest is my baskets that
Do you have any secret little tips or tricks that we can make not secret anymore?
About anything.
Right.
Yeah, I got a lot of secrets. No, not really. I think if you're a quilter, or you just follow the pattern, and as I said, I don't like these modern quilts that they make. They're so fancy and all that. I like all of these old ones, but there's just no shortcuts, I don't think. If you want to piece it, you have to cut out your strips or your squares or whatever you're doing, and when you get enough, then you start piecing.
On the strip ones, can you kind of tell how you do those? Are they
What, this?
overlap? You overlap them and sew them, or how does that go together?
Oh, yeah. Well, I just put these two together, sew it right here on the wrong sides, and then I'll flip it over, and then put this one on there, flip it over.
Just work your way out?
Yeah. Well, I can. Excuse me. I can show you.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
See, I just started with this piece here and laid this on top and sewed it, and then I just went on like that till I got to the end of it.
And then you just trim it off, and that makes your square.
Yep, and then it doesn't. You can make it fancy. You can make these all the same, and then when you set it, then you can just pattern it the way you want to. But that's what my mom used to do. As I said, I've never made a full quilt like that.
Okay. Bessie, I have a couple of questions.
Okay.
Are you still working on this quilt, the hand-laced one? Are you going to finish it and make it a...
Oh, the one
quilt
that.
you've been working on?
Well,
With the padding on it and everything?
oh, I probably won't, but that was my intentions, and the only way I could get it finished is if I just have it, if I send it out and let somebody,
Mainly, the focus is doing the quilt tops,
yeah,
and people today can just kind of finish.
I'll think more about it.
yeah,
Maybe when you get
yeah, I've got,
Daughters would get you on this.
yeah, yeah, she tells me, I want that, I want that, I want that. I said, you want everything.
Like that pattern right there, you stitch around every little piece, don't you?
This one here, yeah.
Do you do like fan on some of them, or are they all quilted like that?
Yeah, they're all like that, to see.
That looks like it's on machine, even it's so, the size and the stitches are the same. That's beautiful.
Yeah, and on the edge, I,
That, the hemming, and then
I did that.
how you did the, it's beautiful.
Thank you. Well, yeah, does anybody here that does this? Nobody?
Do we have quilters here in the audience?
I used to quilt that Cherokee. I used to help there. Trying on you, they didn't ever take my
Well, what they used to do what they call fans, and they first one that they would draw for you, and they'd draw, and then you just start from this end and go that way, and you were supposed to make them all the same width. I would start okay, but by the time I got to the bottom, it would be about that much wider than it would be when I started up top. Yeah.
Bessie, do you have any quilts that your mother made or grandmother?
Nope, I sure don't. And as I said, I don't really have anything of my mom's except maybe I think I got an old Aladdin lamp. And I think someone, I couldn't remember, but I think one of my brothers maybe said, that used to be our mom's, and if it was, I'm really proud that I still got it, Of course, the globe has long gone, but I did replace it, so that's the globe I bought. It's getting old too, so yeah, it doesn't work, that I need to, well, it's kind of rusty, to where you can't, it just don't work. I try to put kerosene in it or oil, lamp oil, and it just wouldn't soak the wick in there, so.
My generation, Bessie, we don't quilt anymore. And so when y'all got together and quilted, what were some of the things that you talked about? Did you gossip?
I didn't. I just listened. Yeah, the old ladies back there. Yeah, they would talk, and talk about kids, just different things, but as I said, I didn't really pay attention to what they was talking about. I was too busy trying to keep up with the quilting. No, I really like to try different. Yeah, I got in the habit of, not habit, but this applique,
Do you like applique?
Yeah, I like it pretty good. And this one, I had to use, I did use, I guess you don't have to, but I used that thing, that makes it stiff. I can't even think of what it's called. What? Heat and bond, yeah. See? I don't know what to do with, and that made it a lot easier to applicate with that on there, of course. And when it's washed, it kind of limbers up, so it's not stiff anymore. But I really like doing that, and I found this. Of course, there's all kinds of butterfly patterns, but this was the easiest, so I stuck to this. But I had some squares here. I don't know what happened to them. Oh. Don't play too hard. I'm getting me some mixed up. Yeah, but I didn't. Once I got it all put together, I didn't really like this dark. And I hand sewed all of that too, around this part. So when I get time or don't have nothing else to do, I'll probably take all that out and change the color on it, because to me this is, I don't know, I just don't like the blue. Yeah, and the butterflies are supposed to be going all different directions, one's going that way and that way, and so, but you can't really tell unless you open it all up. As I said, I may not never do that, but
you're also known for your basketry. And when I see your basket somewhere, 9 times out of 10, I know it's your basket because it's perfectly made. I know people don't like to say no one's perfect, nothing's perfect. I think they're perfectly made. And I know it's yours, not just the colors and how you put colors together, but just how the weaving is just perfect. Is that something you think about with your quilts too? Because I heard you saying you looked at your quilt and you saw it, something you would have done different. You just really have an eye for making things very well. Can you talk about that?
About my baskets?
Yeah, and anything you do, it just seems to be well made.
Well,
yes.
Well, I'm really not a perfectionist either, Sometimes my basket might kind of be lopsided, and I'll fuss about over it, and a lot of time, most of the time you can kind of straighten it up, but there are times when I just could not straighten it up, especially if it's bigger, that's the hard part is making it all uniform, but yeah, that's it's just practice, and of course I went to class at Oaks with Thelma Forrest, her, way back in the 70s, I think, and of course I didn't stay with it. I quit for a long time. I just took time off, you might say. But and I guess it was back in the 90s sometime. Mary Foreman, I always said she was my inspiration, because she's the one that really introduced me to the traditional reed, honeysuckle and buckrush and natural dyes and all that, and I don't know. Sometimes I even surprise myself that I've stuck with doing baskets all these years, because I just do them a while, and then when I get tired of doing baskets, I'll find something else. Well, I make beads too. Did you see my beads?
Jewelry.
Yeah. I didn't bring a whole lot of anything. Yeah, see, I roll these by hand, one at a time, and takes me maybe a couple of hours to do a bowl, you might say, bowl of them, and then I'll let them sit for.
And they're clay beads.
Yeah, clay beads. This is a real clay, natural clay. It's not the imitation. It's not store-bought.
And I noticed that about your clay beads when you taught a class in Kenwood, or gave a presentation in Kenwood, that even the beads seem perfectly round. You just seem to put a lot of thought into doing good work. And it shows.
Well, I cannot do a bead that is about a marble size, bigger. I just cannot get it uniform. These is size I can do. And the way, not all of them is going to come out perfect either, And what I do after I have them fired is when I start stringing them, I pick out the best ones and the ones that the size that I want, for most of the time I just usually start with bigger down here and then kind of just go up or taper off a little bit to smaller around the neck, or sometimes I just put chain on them, so.
I noticed that too because it's real gradual. The beads, how they move from a little bit larger to smaller, it's very, very gradual, so you have to, again, put a lot of thought into every bead and every size.
Yeah, and if you can't wait too long after you roll them, before you put the hole in them, because if you wait too long, then they're gonna burst open. They're just not gonna. That's just something you have to learn, when to do this, when to do that,
So how do you fire them?
Well, I have them fired in a kiln, So I have put some in a cast iron skillet pot.
And Bessie, in your little book you brought with the pictures, I know one of the quilts you did was the oak leaves and acorns, and I've seen that on your baskets too, and you were the first one I noticed doing that. Can you talk about that? How much do you like that design? You obviously like that design.
Well, see the acorns that I make out of reed.
Yes.
I'll tell you how that come about. Because you want to do something different sometimes, and I was just sitting around one day, and I said, "What can I make now? What can I come up with that's different? And just like I always say in the cartoons, that the light bulb will go out, and I said acorns, so I was the first one that made them, and still making them. I think some of them I've seen some that others have made, and I'm not going to comment on them.
And I've noticed too when you do the acorns and the oak leaves, sometimes the basket material itself, you leave it kind of not processed as much, so it all looks really more natural too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when I first started making the acorns, I was cutting out the leaves out of a brown paper poke, you might say, and drawing the veins and everything in them. And I don't know if somebody suggested or I just came to me, well, I can use just the natural leaves are all over the place. yeah. And I can't beat the real acorns to the squirrels because I can't. Every time I go looking for some, there's not any, Give me a chance. Yeah.
Bessie, do you teach classes?
Yeah, matter of fact, I'm supposed to.
Everybody, Bessie's going to give some information on classes that she'll be teaching, if you all are interested.
Basket weaving?
Basketry.
Yeah.
If you plan
Well,
on quilting classes.
I haven't really posted it or anything like that unless Jane has. I told her because we kind of work under her, and Jody, what's her name? Jody Fishing Hawk, yeah. Anyway,
Scheduling classes.
I'm the one that schedules them, but I could never find the time, because I've got a son that is kind of sickly, and he's been keeps us busy, so it's really kind of hard to schedule but I think we're going to start. I plan on starting next Monday.
Okay.
And that'll be at the center.
At the Cherokee Arts Center.
Yeah, Cherokee Arts Center. And if you're interested, just call me or get my number somewhere.
Okay.
I didn't even bring my cards,
Call the Cherokee Arts Center.
Yeah.
Is there, are there any prerequisites who would this be good for? Is this for beginners?
Well, that's who I like. I like the beginners, and I only take about 6 at the most. Because when you get a house full or too many, you just can't do it. Because one might need help over here and the other one you can't get, you just can't get to all of them, when you have too many. Yeah, I just need a smaller. But as far as I know, this is going to be going on all summer till next September, I think, is we can go through September, as they tell us, if the funds last, So, but it's all free. If anybody wants to come and take classes, it's free, and material, I got the material, and all you got to do is show up. But I do want dedication, if somebody wants to come and learn, then I want them there at every class, not in and out, because, really. Huh?
Registration card.
Oh.
Be a Cherokee citizen?
Yeah. All we need is your blue card, copy of your blue card. Well, we do that too, so.
I didn't know the classes were free. That's
How far?
Oh, you didn't know they were
I
free?
thought there was a little fee. So that's good to know.
Yeah.
And we'll post that information on the Facebook page.
We'll post the info. And this gives us an opportunity to hold on a little longer, hopefully forever, to our, things like basketry and, again, quilting. My generation doesn't do that, and I think that was a really important part of our culture at some point, the time you got to spend together. And that you made time to do that, and that you made something that was meaningful to someone, whoever ended up with the quilt. But my generation, we don't get together like that anymore. And so we're not, I don't think.
Even families don't visit like we should.
Families don't visit like we used to. And I think that's important to think about these things that can bring us together. And so I'm glad you're offering these classes and passing this down, because that, Bessie is a national treasure, and that's a big part of how you become a national treasure, is that you pass these things on to other people. So it's well deserved.
Yeah, that's the whole purpose of these classes, is to pass it on, and hopefully, that at least one or two is going to go on. Not all of them's going to go out and teach or anything like that, but hopefully, if one does, then that you've done your job, I think. So.
And people have different interests. Some people like the pottery and basketry.
Yeah.
You never know what you're going to really enjoy until you try it, I guess. So.
Well, they say that starting a basket from, the bottom is the hardest part. I think once you get the hang of that, then I think you got it made, but you have to keep practicing. You have to practice to get it just right. And I do admit it is hard, when you're a beginner to start from the bottom, on the bottom. But
when you did quilting with your mother, did you guys talk in Cherokee, or are you a speaker?
Yeah, that's what I always bring this up. I didn't know how to speak English when I started at school, because that's all we spoke at home, and now my kids say, "So why didn't you teach us?" Yeah, I didn't really know how to speak English whenever I started at school. So nowadays, when I think about it, maybe that's how come I hated school so bad, because it was hard for me to learn, I guess, because it was late when I learned, so I don't know. Maybe I just didn't want to. I don't know what my problem was.
What do you think about us teaching little ones the language now, like in our little language immersion?
Yeah, I think that's good, and you can see them on the OCO TV, and they pronounce those words so perfect, so good, and yeah. Are they learning how to talk it, or just to read?
Read and speak.
Well, they're getting ahead of me, because I don't know how to write. I can study it, and figure it out, but I never.
You have the most difficult part, and that's speaking it, and speaking it in the way that you were brought up.
Yeah.
That's hard to teach that.
Mhm. Well, nowadays, the way they teach, I think, is they add the extra syllable in there, and where, like cat, wesa. We just say wesa. We don't add that soft to it, at the end. But it's just so many things like that, and it's what confuses.
And OCO, how do you say that?
We say CO. We don't say OCO,
Yeah. That's important. That's important to learn. How do you say thank you? How do you say
I would just say gali eliga.
I'm grateful?
If it was to me or something, somebody maybe give me something or whatever, or say this is pretty, I was like, no. See, I'm already mixed up myself. If I was to receive this, I would appreciate it, and that's gali eliga. But just like Vicky's asking, I came up with the word now.
She's going to give you a clue.
I wouldn't know anyway.
No.
No.
No, I'll give them.
That's the thank you in a different.
What does that mean to you? Not just I'm grateful, but what does it mean to you when you say that? I'm grateful.
Grateful.
The godly
It just means that I'm. Well, I don't know how to explain it, but I guess the biggest or the most grateful thing that I would express would be like if somebody gave me something that they have made, and they gave it to me because, well, they was thinking of me while they was making this, But other than that, that's the only way I can explain being grateful.
It's from the heart.
Is it more from the heart? Or
Yeah.
saying what no, maybe?
Yeah.
I didn't mean to put you on the spot. I wanted people to see when we translate words like wesa, when we say wes, and that means cat. The people that speak the language, when they're describing something, it's more than just cat. Usually, it's usually describing something, and I like to see how you all think, because you can tell you're thinking about how to explain something, and it's different. And the way the language is just different from my understanding.
Well, it really is hard to explain when you're appreciative of something from, as he says, from the heart, deep down. It just kind of humbles you, I guess.
All right. How much time? Oh, we're right on 7. Are there any questions from anyone? Any more questions? Okay. Well, I want to thank everybody for coming, and just look for those classes at the Cherokee Arts Center.
Yeah, just give me a call, and as I said, I'm going to turn this off.
Okay, I want to share one quick
Bessie.
I have a Bessie Russell story. I love this story. I don't have to be on camera. I love this story because it was about 18 years ago, maybe, at NSU. The JOM program at the end of the fiscal year had some funds they encouraged the schools to spend some funds, and they just put all the artists and cultural presenters in one place at NSU, so the schools could just go in there and buy art and schedule presenters and that sort of thing. And I'd never met Bessie, but I knew her work. I was a big fan of her work for a long time. And I went in as someone that could present on culture. So on my table I had different things that different people had made. I hadn't made anything, but I had stickball sticks and those sort of things. But I had a Bessie Russell basket on my table. And after a while, this woman comes over, and she picks up the basket, and she's looking it over, and she goes, "That's really pretty." I said, "I know, it is, isn't it?" I said, "Bessie Russell made it." She said, "I'm Bessie Russell." And she's right. It was a beautiful basket, and I still have it. And so she was admiring her own work. She didn't, she wasn't sure it was her work, but she's also, she's a humble woman. She's humble about her work, but it is beautiful. It's perfect.
I think the reason that I was looking it over was, seems like somebody told me that was my sister's.
Oh, I see.
That's how come I was looking it over, and I recognized it was mine instead of hers.
Yeah, because you really checked it out. So. Okay. Well, I want to give you a gift, Bessie, for coming in and teaching us. Here is a bag and a beach towel if you go to the beach anytime soon.
All the time.
Yeah. Or the creek.
It's a Pendleton.
It's a Pendleton towel. And then there is, you can show it if you want. And Pendleton towel. And it's actually very pretty. Yeah.
It's called a creek towel, not a beach towel.
Can take that to Blue Hole at Rocky Ford.
Yeah, Betty is pretty.
Yeah.
You'll
I like
probably be-
that. Thank you. Kevin's got good taste. He picked that out. And
love it.
and we have a copy of our Cherokee prayer too for you. So
Oh,
thank you
okay.
so much for being here. And I also have something for Sue, a little gift, because Miss Sue Wolf does so much for us in scheduling and working with our national treasures, and she's really established a good relationship with them, and she makes my job and a lot of our jobs much easier. So Widow Sue, they're not Cherokee, but they're porcupine quills. And who knows, we may have had porcupines, I don't know. And so, but wanted to give you a little gift, and thank you for all of your help too. So, okay, I think that's it for tonight. We're not going to meet in February. The second Tuesday in February is Valentine's Day, so I'm sure all of y'all are going to be out with the loves of your life, maybe. So, but we'll come back in March. So, thank you all for being here again, Widow.